We've brought in a special guest all the way from Adrian, Michigan. And we brought in Jeff Rising. And Jeff is a realtor with Foundation Realty. And how long have you been in real estate, Jeff?
I've been working in real estate for 11 years, for about the last 7 years, specializing mostly in foreclosures, and within the last 2 to 3 years, kind of expanding my business into short sales. The length of time to where a buyer could potentially terminate the contract is a point of negotiation during the original contract negotiations. If you're the seller and the listing agent, you would like to have the buyer be committed for at least 60 to 90 days. If they're only willing to stay committed for 30 days and they're not wrapped up into the deal, doesn't sound like they're that committed to the deal, you could still accept the offer, but chances are if we don't have a short sale approval within 30 days, there's a good chance that buyer could walk away. So the goal is to make sure that the buyer's committed and that they're willing to wait 60 to 90 days and that we have the in writing in the short sale approval addendum.
I think right now you said you got 20 listings, right, that you're working on. And so your transaction volume is a lot different than what I do.
Right.
So for any of the people that are just starting out that are doing listings and short sales, maybe kind of give some advice to them and kind of give them some ideas.
Okay, one of the most important things, as I mentioned before, is to have all your paperwork and documentation ready in the beginning of the transaction. When you first meet with the seller to sign the listing contract, get copies of all their financial documents, get the authorization letter signed that allows you to speak to their lender on their behalf, get all that stuff ready so you have it, so when you receive an offer, there's no delay in getting that short sale package to their lender. Another important part is the seller needs to be committed to this transaction. It's a lot of hard work. They need to maintain the property. There's several situations where they may have relocated to a different area and had to leave this house behind. The grass is getting long, the house is dirty. They need to have someone take care of that and maintain that property for them so it's in the best show-ready condition possible. So just like any other listing you have, it needs to look its best all the time to get the highest dollar amount. Because the less of a negative balance there is for their lender, the most likely they are to approve the short sale. You need to spend time every week, at least once a week, reviewing every short sale listing package that you have. If the property's not selling, you have not received any offers, but it's getting showings, you need to review your list price. You need to run new comps. You need to spend time each week on every deal that you have going on, just so you don't forget about it. It's kind of like the out of sight, out of mind mentality to where you just list it and wait for an offer. It could be months before you receive an offer if you're not paying any attention to that file.
How hard is it for you as a listing agent to get both the bank and the seller to agree on a negotiated price?
Okay, well, the next step after receiving an offer that your seller accepts, and we send in the short sale package to the lender, they're going to order what's called a BPO, a broker's price opinion. They don't typically order a full appraisal. They usually order a BPO. So another local real estate broker will go out, do a price opinion on the property, and if their price opinion comes in at or close to what your offer is, they're most likely going to approve that. If it's significantly off, then yes, they'll come back with a counteroffer. The bank might say, okay, your offer is 85, our BPO says it's worth 95, so we have a big discrepancy here. And you can, of course, challenge that BPO. You could send them your own BPO, or you can have a fellow broker from another company go do a third-party opinion. So it's always an open negotiation.
Like I mentioned, I don't do a lot of short sales. I think it's kind of challenging. It's just not in my market, but you do a lot of them. So do you enjoy doing short sales? Do you find it fulfilling? I guess, are you successful doing it?
Yes, I really like doing short sales for two reasons. First, you're helping a homeowner out of a bad situation so they can start rebuilding their lives financially and emotionally. It takes a huge emotional toll on them. It's a really difficult process for the seller because there's a lot of uncertainty involved. When we get to the closing table, they get out of the house, they sign the deed, they walk away not owing any balance. It's a huge weight lifted off their shoulders, and it's very rewarding. Just like when we first got into real estate and you work with first-time buyers, it's great helping someone buy their first house. It's kind of that same feeling walking away from that closing table, knowing that you've helped someone. There's definitely a growing market in short sales, but like with any business, unless you really like doing what you're doing, it's going to be hard to be successful at it because you can't ever just do anything just for the money. You really need to like doing it. The second reason I like doing short sales is because I really see that as a path out of the foreclosure crisis. If we can get more people completing short sales as opposed to letting their house get foreclosed on, we're going to see home values start to come up because a short sale does sell typically 10 to 15% higher than a foreclosure.
Yeah, I'm connected with Jeff on Facebook and Twitter. I've known Jeff now for a couple years, and some of the things I've noticed on some of the transactions that you're doing, you make comments about how you feel you're helping specific neighborhoods and areas when you're doing short sales.
Right.
So you're not only helping that specific seller through all this, emotional trauma and issues that they're dealing with, but I think you're also helping the neighborhoods. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. It's maintaining the values in the neighborhood. I would rather see a house next door to me sell as a short sale than a foreclosure, for sure. One of the biggest issues with foreclosures is depending on who the bank is that owns the house, it could sit vacant for up to 2 to 3 years before they get it on the market.
Wow.
So that's a blight to the neighborhood. So when you do a short sale, you're selling from one owner directly to the next owner. There's typically no vacancy term involved. The property's being maintained the whole time, so it is ultimately better for the neighborhoods to get short sales done.